Welcome to Concept. This is Dr. Bill Loveless saying thank you for watching. Today we're going to talk about a theory of love. Boy, that sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Don't go away. We're going to talk about a theory of love. Do you remember the awakening of love? Oh, yeah. I'm an old guy now, but I can remember the awakening of love. Oh, dear. It was awful. It was good. It was all put together. You know, she's so beautiful. He's so handsome. They look so good together. It's a cool couple, blah, 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 and on we go. A theory of love. You know, what is love all about anyway? What makes it work? And what kind of expectations can we have? What kind of things happen when people fall in love? And we're going to look at a theory of love. Now, theories are not facts. Theories are theories about facts. And sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. And we're going to have a lot of fun today looking at a theory of love, because we're looking at one of America's, in my estimation, greatest scholars. I have a little problem understanding all that Robert Sternberg is saying, because he's a very able and a very bright guy. But I think you're going to enjoy looking at a theory of love in kind of a different way than you have in the past. Do you remember yourself? Do you remember when love was awakening in your own life? Or maybe it's presently going on that way. And I want you to think about that, because we're going to kind of parse it, take it apart, and look at the pieces of love and see what those pieces look like. She's been planning a wedding for years. My daughter, my oldest daughter, was planning her wedding when she was just a little girl. It's interesting to watch and think about how little girls and young women and older women plan their weddings. Think about their weddings. Think of all the details that they have, everything they want to see and everything they want to accomplish in their wedding. It becomes a very, very important thing. She's met the groom. He's big and strong. Now, not all of us grooms are big and strong, but you kind of get this idealized view of a couple. She's been planning a wedding for years. Now the guy comes into the picture. Here's the perfect candidate. He finds her cute. She's a hot chick. He's big and strong. Everybody thinks it's wonderful. And we look good together. Everybody says, my goodness, you guys look so good together. Everything is so nice and wonderful. Our theory of love. Is this really the way it works? If we're fortunate, we find that the couple years later, hand in hand, walking into the sunset like this couple is right here, walking down the beach into the sunset after 56 years, 62 years, 69 years of happily married bliss. Now, the happily married stuff takes place of the unhappily married stuff that everybody thinks about a little bit in their relationship. So now we're going to look at a theory of love. What is that phenomenon all about? I'd like to introduce you to a man whose name is Robert Sternberg. Robert Sternberg's triachic or triangular theory of love. Dr. Sternberg is a very bright guy. He started his career here in the United States studying human intelligence. And he was doing very well in human intelligence. His lab was big. He had a bunch of graduate students getting their PhDs. And Sternberg's name was big in the human intelligence field. This was early in his career. And somehow during the middle part, or early part of his middle career, Sternberg became dissatisfied with himself and with what he was discovering. He said, you know, I really want to spend my time studying about love. I think human intelligence is important. He didn't minimize that at all. But he said, you know, love is more important. Love is a more powerful thing. And I would like to study that. And so he came up with a triarchic theory of love. And he said, imagine that the mystery of love is represented by a triangle of enduring love. So watch carefully. Keep looking at that triangle now. I'm going to go through it. On the left-hand side is the commitment, which is Sternberg's word for spirit. At the bottom, at the base, is passion. That's body. And intimacy, on the right-hand side, is mind. So for Robert Sternberg, the triarchic theory of love, the triangle theory of love, if you please, has to do with commitment, passion, and intimacy. You can take them in any order. We're going to take them in any order today, so you can place them any place you like on the triangle. And we're going to take a look now at Sternberg's theories and add some of Loveless's theories together with it to really kind of take a look at what the triarchic theory of love is all about. So let's start with the concept of commitment. The glue that holds a relationship together is called commitment. A long-term outlook on the relationship characterized by relationship satisfaction. That's the personal side now. This is the mind side. Commitment. Notice that it's talked about as glue. I mean, it's glue that just sticks a situation together. We are permanent. We are together. We're going to stay together. It's in our mind, clearly in our mind, that this is a long-term relationship. We're going for the long haul. That's what we mean when we talk about commitment. So that long haul will have ups and downs. That long haul will have appointments and disappointments. That long haul will have all kinds of different feelings and impulses and motivations. But regardless of what they are, positive or negative, the glue that holds our relationship and our family and our marriage together is commitment. And we are committed to the long haul. It's going to be permanent till death do us part. And out of that commitment, in the triangle of love, the theory of love, out of that commitment comes a very real personal satisfaction. We feel good about ourselves. We feel good about each other. This is a committed relationship. It's going to go till death do us part. We like what we're getting out of it because we're getting a satisfaction out of this relationship that nothing else has brought to us or can bring to us. This is what we mean by commitment. Long term, till death do us part, and we are together and we like what it's doing for us. We like how we feel. We like how we're working. We like how we're playing. We like how we deal with the kids. It is a committed relationship. Okay? That's one side of the triangle of love, the triarchic theory of love. Sternberg says commitment is the mind side. It's the very important side of a relationship. You can't say it isn't. Let's take a look now by what it's characterized by. Satisfaction and relationship stability. In other words, regardless of what unstable things happen in our lives, losses, disease, disappointments, it's a stable situation. The commitment makes it stable. The satisfactions make it stable. And that's the kind of situation that we have. Now let's look at the other side of the triangle, intimacy. Intimacy identifies feelings of closeness, connectedness, and bondedness. When we say intimacy, then, we're talking about feelings. We're clear on these feelings. We feel close to our partner. We feel connected to our partner. We feel bonded to our partner. When we think of our marriage relationship, it is an intimate kind of situation because we are close, we are connected, and we are bonded. What does intimacy involve? It involves a number of interesting things in terms of what is intimacy. You know, it involves the way you pay attention to each other. I have a little bit of a problem when I hear people saying to me, well, Dr. Loveless, we've been intimate. And what they mean is they've had sex. I don't mean to downplay sex. We'll get to that later under passion. But, you know, when we're talking intimacy in this program, we're not talking about sex. It might have something directly or indirectly to do with it, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the way people feel in terms of being close, trusting, connectedness. We're bonded. It's the way you pay attention to each other. That's what we mean by intimacy. That's what the theory of love says. If you're intimate, you pay attention to each other in a very special way. Now, what is that way based on? Okay, let's look at the next concept. Here it is. Your self-knowledge. Intimacy involves the way you pay attention to each other and your own self-knowledge. You know, you can't be intimate with anyone else until you know who you are. It's self-understanding and self-knowledge that leads us to intimacy. There isn't any other portal to go through. There's no other door to open. It's the door to self-knowledge. The next bit of information that we need to talk about intimacy is the knowledge of the other. So I need to know about myself. I need to know about you. And when that happens, we have no need to change each other. I like what you are. You like what I am. We both know who we are and we know who the other one is. And we have no need to change each other. Now, let me just kind of put it together. Ready? When I know who I am and who you are, and when you know who you are and who I am, and neither of us have a need to change the other, it can be said we are intimate. Now that's a big order. Being intimate then involves at least these things in our triarchic theory of love. Commitment identifies initial maturity. The initial maturity is commitment. And what do you need to have in order to be committed to someone else? Listen carefully. Independence from your parents. I know children in their 50s who call their parents every day. I know children who depend on their parents after they've been married 25 years for their advice and counsel instead of their partner. Commitment identifies initial maturity, and that initial maturity is, are you independent from your parents? Second, and very important, let's take a look at our next one. Seeking more than personal gratification of sexual and personal needs. When we get married, we are looking for a whole lot more than personal gratification, sexual and personal needs. We are looking for closeness. We are looking for bondedness that we just talked about. These are the kinds of things that are very important for us to keep in mind. We grow up enough to banish and drive the drive to control and rule one another. I don't need to rule you. I don't need to control you. I have all the trouble I can take controlling myself. I don't need to take over anybody else's life. Commitment identified. These are the initial, these are things you have to have happen in order to be successful in a love relationship. You have to do away with the drive to control somebody else or away with the drive to rule over somebody else. This is not something that's possible to do if you're an adult in a love relationship, which can truly be called a triarchic relationship, where commitment and where passion and where all of these interesting factors all play together in the triangle of love. We have to reject our expectations about being taken care of. In true love, we abandon the expectations we have of being taken care of. That's kind of almost being independent from our parents. These are kind of the maturity scale of people that are truly in love and falling in love. And I liked this last one, and I think you'll like this one too. The anticipation that God has much yet to do with us. Our life is not over. God has a lot to do with us. And we are waiting maturely to see what He wants to do. This is kind of the way we look at the commitment, identity for initial maturity as we look at the triangle of love. So let's continue on now and take a look at passion. Passion involves drives leading to romance, physical attraction, and sexual consummation. I'll leave that on a minute. Let's take a look at that carefully. Let's parse it out so we get it all straight. This is the third part of the triangle. Passion involves drives. All of us have inherent drives leading to romance, the feelings of romance, the drives toward romance, the drive, the feeling of physical attraction, and sexual consummation. This is what we mean when we talk about passion. This is a very important part, not the most important part by any means. The others are also, intimacy is important, commitment's important, and now we talk about passion. Are very important. In our culture here in the West, there's a lot more emphasis on passion than there is in the other two sides of the triangle of love. Passion involves drives leading to romance and physical attraction and sexual attraction. Number one, healthy sexuality involves. This is what I call healthy sexuality. And Sternberg goes along with this, and I certainly go along with Sternberg on this. Sensitivity to each other. Development of a genital relationship. And refusal to give up on the relationship. Let's look at those now again, one at a time. Listen to me carefully as I kind of go through that with you and for you. Healthy sexuality involves, number one, sensitivity to each other. A sensitivity to each other. Men and women have different levels of arousal in sexuality. Most of you who are watching me know that. Healthy sexuality involves, on the part of the female and the male, an awareness of the sensitivity of the other, of the needs of the other, of the physical touch, of the words to reassure each other. This is what we mean by passion, healthy sexuality. Development of a genital relationship. A genital relationship is something which is developed over time. It's not quite so simple to have an erection and enter, and that's it. There's a whole lot more involved than that when we talk about a genital relationship. A genital relationship has more to do with what goes on in the head than what goes on in any other part of the body. Real sex happens in the head, not in the genitals. So the genital relationship is developed by the way we listen and speak and think about each other and to each other, and a refusal to give up on the relationship. So often in my work, I talk to couples who basically have given up, she's not interested, he wants it all the time and I don't get anything, and you get all of this refusal. Finally, yeah, this isn't going anywhere, I'm done with this. A healthy sexual relationship is a refusal to give up on the relationship. Healthy sensuality involves enjoying together the pleasures of the life together. And Sternberg describes the elements of an incomplete triangle of love. Take where only one or two of these are present and not all of them. Where there's only passion, there's infatuation. Only passion, infatuation. Where there's only intimacy, you like each other. Where there's only commitment, no passion, no intimacy, it's empty love. You start adding them together, where you have passion and intimacy, you have romantic love. Passion and intimacy, romantic love. Passion and commitment, naive love. Where is it going? Really nowhere. Naive love. Where you have intimacy and commitment, you have companionate love. Companionate love. Now let's take a look at this third one. Here's the one that I like from Sternberg. With passion, intimacy, and commitment, when you put all three of them together, we have what Dr. Sternberg, and I totally, heartily agree with him, we have what we call consummate love. Passion, intimacy, and commitment. We have consummate love. That's the triarchic theory of love. There are, however, a number of languages of love. You know, not everybody makes love and speaks love the same way. One of the languages is, do you exhibit love by developing quality time with focused attention? Quality time with focused attention. That's the language of love. That's the way some people do it. Others speak words of affirmation. I call it soul-soothing speech. I really appreciate you. I am so happy you're here with me, blah, blah, blah. And it feels so good. It's very soul-soothing, speaking words of affirmation and words of appreciation. Next, some people show their love by giving gifts, cards, presents, giving gifts. That's a language of love. That's one of the ways people say, I love you, by giving somebody else a gift. Others, by performing a service. I have a very dear friend of our family who loves to entertain. Her meals are something to write home about. I keep telling her how much I appreciate coming to her house. As soon as the meal is over, she's in the kitchen doing the dishes while the rest of the guests stay and talk. Her language of love is performing acts of service, having dinners and doing dishes. This is the way she does it. And last, engaging in tender physical touching, patting on the back, just touching someone is the way other people say, this is the way I say I love you. How do you exhibit your love? How do you exhibit your passion? How do you exhibit your commitment to someone else? Do you exhibit it by special attention focused on them? Do you do it by speaking words of affirmation, soul-soothing speech to them? Do you bestow gifts, give them gifts? Do you perform acts of service for them? Do you engage in tender physical touching, especially with family members? We call these the languages of love. There is a theory of love. It has passion, and it has commitment. It has all of those good things. It has languages. It has ways of showing that we're committed. It has ways of showing we love each other. By the way we touch each other, and by what we do for each other, love is acted out. It's a wonderful thing to experience. It's a wonderful thing to dispense. It's a wonderful thing to accept. You just can't beat love as a theory when love as a theory is put into practice. That's what makes everything worthwhile. When we take those languages, we take those concepts, those kind of abstract concepts on a triangle, and start applying them to life itself. This means that all of us can do this. Everyone who's watching me can speak one of the languages of love, and you have one of those languages, and I have one of those languages. It's time for you to start using it every day, speaking your own individual, personalized language of love. And remember, don't try to be perfect, because there isn't any way we can. But what we do want to try, what we do want to remember, is we do want to try to do better. That's all we can expect from each other, and that's perfectly enough.